What's up, everybody? What's up? LSU football start week 2 against Grambling. Open Tiger Stadium for the 99th season. 99th season running since 1924, November 25th, 1924. 100th anniversary next year. Going to be special there in Tiger Stadium for the Nicholls State home opener. They'll probably do some type of pageantry for that game, I'm sure. But another season begins in Tiger Stadium, and it's a season under fire. Already 4 games in, LSU, a top 5 team, booted out of the top 10, and now ranked number 14 after our shellacking, our ass kicking to Florida State, 45-24, where we absolutely got destroyed by Jordan Travis and the Seminoles. Completely had moments in that first half where we just blew it, and had moments in the second half where receivers were dropping passes. Running backs are just trucking guys over, just blowing us over. Our offensive line is allowing some big plays on Jaden Daniels getting smashed in the backfield. It was not a fun game to watch. Keon Coleman was dominating our DBs. So was Johnny Wilson. So, we allowed 2 100-yard receivers last week as well. So you go into this game against Grambling. What do we want to see tonight? What is the number one thing we all want to see tonight? Well, obviously we want to see a win. Obviously we want to see this team dominate. Obviously we want to see this team really kick it into high gear offensively. Obviously we want to see the defensive backfield get some turnovers. Obviously, you're going to have an easy time shutting down Grambling's receivers. You should. And if you don't tonight, something is really, 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 really wrong. Just setting up our angle here. Just get a little improvement there. There we go. And it's just, can LSU really get that confidence going in the fan base again with a big, big win tonight over Grambling? It's not going to happen. A win over Grambling won't mean anything, but hopefully it will generate a lot of confidence for the players. Hopefully they will feel good about what they're doing out there tonight. And it's a big game for Mason Smith. We looked it up. Mason Smith only has 49 snaps in the last 21 games for LSU, 21 possible appearances. In those 21 possible appearances, he has only made 2 against Kansas State in that bowl game after missing, I think it was 5 games or something like that, and then missed 14 in a row right there on the trot for LSU this last season. And then, of course, missed a 15th game in a row, boom, against Florida State again. So was it 20 or was it 19? It was right in there. Either way, for him to be missing 19 or 20 games, that's insane. So you're going to see Mason Smith finally tonight for the first time in a year. Technically, literally over a year. It was September 4th, 2022, last time you saw him. This game is nuts. For it means a lot for this guy. And then you look at what someone like Denver Harris, who didn't even get a chance to make his LSU debut last week at corner, where we desperately needed anybody to step in there. We didn't have him. He wasn't even on the sidelines, I believe. So, we asked head coach Brian Kelly that in the SEC weekly teleconference. And we asked Brian Kelly if Denver Harris would be available. And he said, yes, he'll be available. And just was very deadpan, almost pissed off to answer it. It was kind of weird, but I think how short his answer was, it threw me off from asking my second question. A very dumb move right there. I was going to ask what the division of snap count would look like tonight for the quarterbacks. I was going to ask him, how much will we see Nussmeier? How much will we see Daniels? And kind of wanted to see what he thought about the quarterbacks. Because tonight, I mean, if Jaden Daniels is going to be the guy, just play Jaden Daniels most, if not all of the night. Just let him go and just let him get that chemistry and get that work in with his receivers, with his offense. Like, treat this game like it actually means something. And I'm telling you, if we do, we will reap some big time benefits. Not only as fans, we'll get to watch some great plays, some touchdowns, some stat padding by some of our favorite players, some guys who've straight up earned it and maybe had some missed opportunities in the past and kind of deserve a moment like this to shine. But also, maybe it'll actually help get this team in the direction they need to, because I'm telling you, Mississippi State is just around the corner. On the road, too. We have to go on another road trip. We have to go to Mississippi State, to Starkville, to play them. So, like, I'm telling you, we haven't looked too good on the road lately. The road trips, it hasn't been too good for us. The A&M game, the Arkansas game was tough as hell. Arkansas should have probably beaten us that game, and if Harold Perkins doesn't go off. And so, tonight, you really want to see this team just absolutely smash the shit out of Grambling. Just go for it. You're paying this team how much? Like, just go for it. Like, full throttle. Never let off. I mean, I'm not sure you play your starters more than like 60% of the game, 50% of the game. And then you'll leave your twos in, I think, for the rest of the game after that. You really get your strong twos, some good plenty of reps and a lot of like touchdowns and interceptions, get these guys a lot of confidence. But I think your ones need so much confidence here. Everybody across the board needs to beat up on someone tonight. I think these receivers need to put up a few 100-yard games tonight. Brian Thomas Jr. kind of stole one last week. He probably doesn't feel too good about it himself, but I think Brian Thomas Jr. had a great game. I know he dropped that pass, but if you look at the pass, for starters, that's a terrible, inaccurate pass that forces him to like stop, almost like contort himself, and the ball is like just wobbling in the air to the point that it allows the defensive back to get into the play that the defensive back had no right to even be in that play. Just lead Brian into that end zone. You can't overthrow these guys. Just overthrow them. In Jaden Daniels' mind, it would be an overthrown pass. But in reality, it would be an accurate pass for these receivers. Jaden Daniels needs to start thinking about it like that, start throwing the ball like that, give these guys an opportunity. His mind will tell him that's going to be an interception. Oh, my God, what am I doing? Throw it anyway. Because I'm telling you, a 50-50 ball, they're going to be like, oh, my God, it's accurate. A 50-50 ball, this is unbelievable. He's throwing it to me. And they're going to be tickled by the opportunity finally. But if it's inaccurate like it has been, it doesn't matter if he's giving them a shot with putting the ball up in the air. It doesn't give them a shot because it's like you saw with the Brian Thomas Jr. play. If you disagree with me, I challenge you to go back and watch the film on that and tell me if you could make that play. Or if that player should be able to make that play theoretically, athletically. It's quite a hard ask. And this is really sad for Tulane. What a great performance they've had here against Ole Miss, and they just threw a pick. We're pulling for Tulane big time, not only just because they're a Louisiana school, but one of our guys, a good friend of the show, good friend of me personally, defensive line coach Gerald Chapman is coaching Tulane's defensive line right now tonight, and they have been impressive. They were impressive last week, had 5 sacks, and I believe something like 12 pressures last week. And tonight, they had 2 sacks in the first half and 5 tackles for a loss in the first half. And let me look at what they've got now, because they've absolutely stuffed the stat sheet. So this game is pretty crazy. Number 20 Ole Miss versus number 24 Tulane, still 17-17. Now it's the end of the third quarter. Tulane are not letting them get to that edge. Judkins has had success. He scored some big touchdowns. But outside of those grind you down plays, it's been tough sledding for them. Tulane had a double-digit lead at one point in this game. So, this is hilarious. I love how wild college football is. I predicted a Tulane victory by 3 pregame, and someone saw that and thought, "What are you thinking? You're nuts!" Like, absolutely destroyed me. Also, I was destroyed for picking Utah by a lot of people who watch this show, watch this channel. Some, including LSU fans, absolutely destroying me for picking Utah as like a good team this year. Look at what they're doing. Look at that comeback from the University of Utah. That was nuts. That was crazy. 2 touchdowns in the final 2 minutes like that. Are you kidding me? My buddy Daniel, I guess his cousin, plays for U of U, so that's very interesting. It was also intriguing to tie up this non-LSU part of this. I know if for a lot of us who follow recruiting, it's very intriguing to see guys that we've kind of seen their names for years now and kind of disappeared off the radar for maybe the last year and a half or so, or last 6 months to 12 months, or guys you're still talking to but just aren't at LSU, and seeing them now star for some teams. Like Nathaniel Wiggins for Clemson had a sack and a TFL for Clemson today. It was kind of interesting. Like, oh, I remember that dude. Decommitted from LSU. Wow. Landon Jackson has had a big season for Arkansas and was speaking for Arkansas at SEC Media Days. Dwight McLaughlin, another former Tiger there at Arkansas, he has had a huge season, continued to be big for them, had an interception in week 1. I don't know what's going on for Arkansas today. Let's look up the scores right now for college football, but kind of interesting to see all these former Tigers or former Tiger commits kind of going around being successful. This just shows you what type of talent LSU brings in. Miami up on Texas A&M 21-17. Intriguing. College football is just so fucking wild. I love it. It's just outside of European soccer, it's the best sport. Like, those two are just tied. They're just both so good. Tied for so many different reasons. But it's college football season, baby. We got this all up in here. LSU opening against Grambling in now about an hour, just over an hour and a half here. What are you all wanting to see from this team? What are you all wanting to see from this staff, especially? Because the staff were under fire this week. The staff were taking bullets left and right and center. I mean, it was like the ending of Bonnie and Clyde for the staff this week. It was just like, they were suffering a drive-by this week. It was nuts what they were going through. I shouldn't make those type of jokes. That's dumb. That's a dumb joke. Sorry for that. I should not make jokes about shooting. I should make jokes about farting. Crooked politicians and some stuff like that. Soup, jokes like that. But this staff were under a lot of fire. People were even saying, let's get Corey Raymond back at LSU. I'm like, you idiot. Don't you realize? I have to just point this out. Anyone who believes that Corey Raymond leaving LSU has brought on the downfall of DBU has no clue, does not follow recruiting, has no idea what is going on for LSU football, especially when we're talking about roster management. And just let me explain to you why. Okay. You want to see LSU's 2020 recruiting class at defensive back for LSU, and who has stayed, who's gone, One guy who's transferred, another guy who's transferred. Another guy who's transferred, Dwight McLaughlin, who we were just talking about. Another guy who was really poor here, Darren Evans, was a transfer. So you got Eli Ricks, who is obviously a fantastic specimen, but he transferred from LSU after only just a year and basically a year and a half, but really 2 years. Dwight McLaughlin was just coming into his own, transferred from LSU once Raymond was gone and got into some incidents with Coach BK. So that is on BK for letting McLaughlin go. Jordan Tolles, a safety who transferred from LSU after not really playing much of a role, had some allegations go his way that may have been true, may not have been true, kind of murky, and you just didn't know what was going on. You felt bad for him because if they weren't true, what a railroad. It was just very strange. We broke the news, actually, officially on his transfer. He was the source telling us, as we put in the article, for his transfer. And he's done well since his transfer to Morgan State. But Jordan Tolles, former four-star, number 4 in his position. But then you look at this, okay? That was the 2020 class. So you're talking about a class that was recruited basically right in the heat of the 2019 championship season, okay? That was a big-time class. Look at this, though. 2021 class. Damian Ramos is on here. Mason Smith is on here. You got Sage Ryan. Good pickup, right? He was a 5-star. Now, it's funny. He was switched to a 4-star after he committed to LSU. Chris Hilton was on this list. Deion Smith, another guy who transferred. Brian Thomas Jr., receiver. Armani Goodwin, still on the team. Demarius McGee. Eric Davis Jr. Let's just sorry, we're going all over the place. Let's stick to the DBs, okay? Because that's what we're focusing on here. This DB class in 2021 that Corey Raymond brought in, and how he's the position he left us in 2022, right before Kelly got in, with only like 1 or 2 months to really recruit, if that, with the dead periods and all that. And NCAA violations as well, limiting those accesses to phone calls, that type of thing too, visits. Corey Raymond screwed up this program in the defensive backroom. Look at this. Derek Davis Jr., who they were trying to play at running back, was his final position before he transferred. They were playing him at fucking running back. He was a safety, so this wasn't even corner. Demarius McGee, who's long gone, transferred. I can't even remember where he transferred to, but he's been long gone. So LSU signed 1 cornerback in the 2021 class. And that offseason, we lost Eli Ricks to a transfer to Alabama, Derek Stingley Jr., Cordell Flott, and Darren Evans, all to the NFL draft. And then we lost Demarius McGee to a transfer. So LSU technically, in that 2021 class, drafted 0 corners that have ever done anything for LSU. 0. Demarius McGee did nothing for LSU. 0. So you're talking about an entire class with 0 corners. 0 corners recruited. 0 corners signed. 0. Have you even heard of that happening before? Can you even, I can't even stress how bizarre and how, I was freaking out at the time, and people were going, look at who we have. We've got this guy and this guy and this guy. And I'm thinking they're not going to stay all this time. I was thinking of going to the NFL. I wasn't thinking Eli Ricks was going to transfer at the time, but I'm like, they're all going to the NFL, bro. We've only got a year left with some of these guys. We have to be thinking about the future, and we're screwing ourselves with this class. And I'm just thinking, well, we're going to have to really be desperate to get Cordell Flott to stay. We'll have to really hope Darren Evans takes a jump in his game. We're going to have to really hope a lot of things happen here. We're going to have to really hope that Sage Ryan, becomes that starter 5-star guy in year 2 as well. There's a lot of things we needed to happen. We put a Band-Aid on it with some of those guys coming in, some of those transfers. And we had LT Welch in the 2022 class. Let's look at 2022. So Corey Raymond set us up with LT Welch, who committed and then kind of okay, I'll still keep my commitment. And then Jordan Allen, who Corey Raymond completely ignored, did not even offer, was offered the first day Kelly started recruiting coming in. Jalen Davis-Robinson completely came to the program only because of Robert Steeples and his last-second maneuvers. And then the transfer portal, we pulled in 1, 2, 3. Technically, 3 corners. Kai Garner, Sevian Banks, Derek Bernard Converse. It's kind of funny. They got Mekhi Garner listed as a safety, and then Greg Brooks Jr. listed at corner. That's kind of funny. That's their original high school position. So, yeah, we had Jalen Davis-Robinson, who's done nothing at LSU. Jordan Allen, who's kind of switching to a nickel from safety to a corner, and now they've got him going for a safety. So we've really only got 2 corners in the last 2 recruiting cycles. LT Welch, Demarius McGee. Demarius McGee's gone. So technically, you just have 1 corner from the last class. Demarius McGee. And now you have 2 from the 2022. Jalen Davis-Robinson and LT Welch. LT Welch has shown a lot of good stuff. Jalen Davis-Robinson, we have barely seen, and I'm thinking he's also transferred, right? Let's look that up. I haven't heard anything about Jalen Davis-Robinson. I swear he's at SMU, right? Yeah. So even he transferred to SMU. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's even worse than you thought. So I just proved that there is no way that this is on Robert Steeples. We had to beg LT Welch to stay. We had to make sure we could steal Jordan Allen before he went to Penn State. We had to clean up a mess just to get a couple guys. And we had just LT Welch. LT Welch is literally it existing from the last few classes, and just 3 corners total. 3 corners total from 2 classes. Demarius McGee, Jalen Davis-Robinson, and LT Welch. 1 in 2021, just 2 in 2022. How in God's name is that on Robert Steeples when the man wasn't even there until the class had 3 weeks left? The class had 3 weeks when he was hired, and he was in the NFL. How is this on him? Don't ever say you want Corey Raymond back at LSU, because Corey Raymond put LSU in this fucking position where our defensive back room is completely screwed, and we have to bring in 4, 5 transfers every single goddamn transfer portal cycle. That's why this 2024 class is so big time in recruiting. And, people want to say, well, okay, but he hasn't done his job since he's been here recruiting. Like hell he hasn't. Making sure LT Welch stays, but then you pull in a guy like Javian Toviano. Okay. And Terry Cooks did a lot of recruiting with Steeples on that too. Kylan Jackson, Ryan Yates is coming in. Ashton Stamps, a diamond in the rough from Rummel High. true corner we're talking about. Jeremiah Hughes, who I heard Jordy Collada say, we should be going for guys in Louisiana, not guys in Las Vegas, like ripping on Brian Polian, who, was the recruiting coordinator for last year. I get what he's saying, but Jeremiah Hughes is actually a really damn good player. We just haven't really seen him on the field yet. But once again, just another slate of transfers coming in from the cornerback position. So Denver Harris, J.K. Johnson, Zy Alexander, Deuce Chestnut. 1, 2, 3, 4. Andre Sam, safety, 5. 5 total defensive back transfers. That's ridiculous. Until LSU get out of that cycle, I'm really worried how many games we're going to be able to win each season, because defensive back is such a damn important position. Because if the other team has just freakish athletes at receiver, which 99% of college football teams have in every state, they're just going to pick on your guys all day, because they're going to relish the LSU DBU challenge. And so they're going to be going at you with everything they got. They're not going to be intimidated, because they've seen what Mississippi State did, over 600 yards on our guys. They saw what Jordan Travis has done in back-to-back seasons. They saw what even UCLA did to us. They saw what Stetson Bennett lit us up in the SEC championship game. So, there's been these performances. Bo Nix has lit us up. In 2020, Bo Nix lit us up. So tonight against Grambling is where you want to see Steeples, Cooks make those adjustments, put the puzzle pieces in the right places, get this thing put together correctly. Andre Sam should not be at nickel. Andre Sam I'm starting to wonder if he should even be on the field. I think you should put Sage Ryan back at safety, Major Burns back at safety, Greg Brooks Jr. at nickel, because he's one of the only guys who seems out there who can cover, a fly on a horse's ass right now. And Zy Alexander, I'm really worried about. Deuce Chestnut had a great first half. A pass breakup, a big tackle for loss, an interception, and then completely went off the cliff. Just like, with arms wide open, under the sunlight, welcome to this place, I'll show you everything. That Creed song, it was that. It was that. And it made no sense. He was having a great first half, and then it spiraled. Zy Alexander was picked on all game. So these DBs need some big-time confidence. I expect Zy Alexander to start the game. And in fact, let's look right now, because we might have access to the depth chart. Let's see what's going on with the depth chart for the game. See who's starting. So you want to see Mason Smith in the middle, Mekhi Wingo. You want to see, in my opinion, Braden Swinson and then Savion Jones give him another try. But from what I've been told, Braden Swinson won't be starting, even though he had a huge game last year. Was one of the only best defenders on the team, alongside Greg Brooks Jr. and the ultimate Mekhi Wingo. Those three were the only guys who really showed out for LSU on defense. And so I think not rewarding him with a start is kind of a dumb idea here. I think he's going to get his anyway off the bench. But yeah, you'd like to see him start. Not going to happen, sadly. Harold Perkins. Interesting. A video of him putting on some cleats. Purple and gold cleats. There's a photo of Mason Smith walking down Victory Hill. Ooh. Greg Brooks Jr. is in the most. Oh, that is absolutely fly. That is absolutely filthy. We gotta get this screen share up in there. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at what Greg Brooks Jr. is wearing right there. Oh my God. Are you serious? And then you got Mason Smith looking lit right there. Love it. Harold Perkins with this weird video of him putting on some cleats, but yeah. There's Victory Hill. There's Mike going crazy. Now, there we go. Mr. Will. I just look at what Will Campbell is wearing. That is epic. That is epic. That is epic. It's probably still even too hot to wear that thing. You gotta have an air conditioner in that thing. Ooh, Mason Smith. Mason was like, what the hell is that guy saying? So we think it's going to be a 62-6 game where LSU are just going to absolutely wallop. LSU are absolutely going to wallop the living hell out of Grambling. But here's the thing. HBCU school or not, if LSU struggle in this game, if Jaden Daniels hesitates throwing the football in this game, where is your line for Jaden Daniels continuing as quarterback? Where is the moment where you're like, okay, I think we need to change to Garrett Nussmeier? Where is the moment you make that move? What would need to happen? Would LSU need to lose this game against Grambling for you to make that move? I'm not trying to get all weird and strange here. I'm just trying to ask a very straight up, honest question. Where is your line? I know where mine is. I think if tonight he throws a couple interceptions against Grambling, only goes for like 240, 250 or something like that, barely throws a touchdown, lucky to get a touchdown, lucky to get a couple touchdowns, even if he does. If he just continues to hesitate, if we continue to see the same quarterback we've seen against Grambling, a team he shouldn't be afraid to throw shots against, a team he shouldn't be afraid to go deep on, then I'm going to be a little concerned, a little troubled, a little worried about what the future looks like for LSU's offense. It's going through the SEC gauntlet of a season. When you're talking about immediately going on the road to Mississippi State, getting tested like that right out of the gate. You're talking about Auburn, Arkansas, all right there in the first five. A trip to Ole Miss as well. So you're talking about some really difficult games right here in the first bunch of games right here. This first nugget. You've got some very difficult games. I mean, let's look at this. Let's look at right now at LSU's schedule. Just get up there. Yeah, there we go. So we know what happened last week at Florida State. Tonight, Grambling. We know what should happen, what has to happen. I mean, if this team were to lose this game tonight, I think half the staff would be fired. I mean, it just won't happen. It's just so inconceivable. If you know anything about college football, it's just, I mean, you wouldn't even make that bet in a million years, no matter what. At Mississippi State, very tricky game. 11 a.m. Central kickoff, guys and gals. I mean, are you kidding me? Every time we play Mississippi State, we play them at the crack of dawn. I hate it. Arkansas. We play Arkansas right after. Right after. We still to be announced when the kickoff will be for that game. I'm guaranteeing that game will probably be sometime in the afternoon, probably 1:30. And then at Ole Miss on September 30th. Everybody, we could have 2 losses, potentially 3, before September ends, and I wouldn't be surprised. That is how crazy college football is. We could also finish this entire September run undefeated as well, and I wouldn't be surprised. And then we got another trip, at Missouri. They scored 45 points on us last time we played them. They're still pissed off about us taking Mekhi Wingo. So, don't count them out either. Oh, shit. Got to change the tab. Okay, my bad. We've got to share the tab with the actual schedule. Okay. See this? Ole Miss, Missouri, Arkansas, Mississippi State, Grambling. Everyone thought this would be the easy part of the schedule. They didn't really figure that this would happen right here. A lot of people didn't even factor in the fact that we could lose this Florida State game and what would happen if we did. I mean, everyone just wants to hear LSU are going to play good tonight. We want to see this and that. I'm talking about big picture stuff because that's what tonight's about. You've got to. This is a chance in the season to literally set yourself up in a way for the future. If you're not going to take advantage of that, you shouldn't be coaching at LSU. This is a chance to make in-game, in-season adjustments during a live game where you can give anybody an opportunity pretty much anywhere on the field and see what happens. If I don't see some crazy experimentation from this coaching staff, where is their will to win? Just do it. We're going to have that 50-point lead, that 40-point lead, that kind of stuff. Do it. Got a comment from NFL SU. He says 51-10 LSU. Go Tigers. 51-10. I would take it. But I want to see something in the 60s. I want to see something allowing under 10 points. But I'll take 51-10 in a heartbeat. I want to see a lot of points from these guys. There's a capability here. There's a capability here for this offense to absolutely blow teams, defenses off the field. Absolutely erase teams. They just don't show it when the first play of the game to Trey Bradford, 55 yards. Incredible. Just what I'm talking about. Second play to Mason Taylor, 15 yards. He's bulldozing past people. And what is it all about? Jaden Daniels getting rid of the football without thinking too much about it and letting LSU athletes run after the catch and make plays after the catch. Because that's what happens. I mean, look at the 2019 offense. That's all it was. Joe Burrow distributing the ball and knowing when and how and where to throw the football. He just knew all those three at the same time and knew his reads, and I mean, in an alternate universe, there was like 5 different guys open on every damn play. So, like in an alternate universe, maybe Thad Moss has 8 touchdowns in that 2019 season. Maybe Terrace Marshall has 20 touchdowns, and Jamar Chase has 14. So, like LSU has always had the athletes, and we still do. We're not maximizing them. We're not using them to their capabilities. Ooh, Ole Miss just made a big play on Tulane right there with a big catch. It's really tough to realize and remember that that's Tulane in those powder blues because that's Ole Miss colors. It's almost like they did that to mess with Ole Miss. Smart decision because they've been off all game. But Dayton Wade, 7 catches, 108 yards. How do you think LSU's DBs are going to be doing against that guy? You know, like people don't factor in or even think about the fact that Ole Miss might have some damn good receivers on their team. Like some of these teams might be able to really body up on us. Ooh, blow up that fucking play. Ooh, Gerald Chapman's defense kicking some ass right there. Defensive line right there. Ooh. Even though what a play. That catch is absolutely savage from Dayton Wade. Unbelievable. That's going to make SportsCenter tonight. Number 19 for Ole Miss, Dayton Wade with that. He's falling, he's diving. Like, what a play. What a play. And Jackson Dart you know what happened? Jackson Dart just stood back there very quickly and just got into his read and just uncorked the football. He didn't think too much about it. He threw the ball up there and gave the guy a chance. There he goes again. 1, 2, 3. The ball should have been caught again. Maybe it could have been picked off. But he threw it with intensity, accuracy, and purpose. He wasn't pussyfooting around. He wasn't scared of anything right there. He was going for it all. I want to see that from Jaden Daniels tonight. If Jaden Daniels is going to be afraid to throw it into traffic against Grambling, he's going to be afraid to really uncork it and throw bombs down the field, then what the hell are we doing here? We've got a guy who was absolutely going crazy throughout fall camp. His name is Garrett Nussmeier. You may have heard of him. He almost threw for 300 yards off the bench against Georgia in the SEC title game. And yeah, you can't have a guy like that sit when your quarterback, your starter, is going to play like that. And this is just crazy to me because Jaden Daniels is capable of winning a Heisman. This offense is capable of being absolutely unstoppable, the number 1 offense in college football. If Jaden Daniels would just stop hesitating with the football, if Mike Denbrock would stop being such a conservative play caller and actually tailor the offense to what helps Jaden Daniels out most, which is spreading everyone out instead of tightening and narrowing formations and making sure you have 7 inline blah, blah, blah tight ends. And it doesn't help the offensive line either, these 7, 8-man protections, even 6-man protections. Stop having the running back in the backfield and max protect. It just makes the quarterback a sitting duck. There's no outlets. There's times where Jaden Daniels believes instead of standing in it and making a throw in the face of pressure, I can always escape this guy. I can always get away from this hit. And you find out that maybe he can't. I want to see Jaden Daniels fired up tonight, ready to just put up a ton of points, a ton of yards, and just go crazy. I just go crazy. Sorry, we gotta send this real quick. So just an hour now, and it will be kickoff time for LSU Grambling. And I know, it's LSU Grambling. All of you gonna be grumbling, but I'm excited. I don't care. I love LSU football. We wait all year for this. Can't you just feel the vibes of Mason Smith getting 2.5 sacks tonight, something like that? the vibes of Harold Perkins being in the right spot. I can. I feel like tonight's going to be a get right, feel good. Everyone's going to get drunk. Everyone's going to have a great time. Everyone's going to get stoned. Everyone's going to get laid. It's going to be a wild, wild night at LSU. It's going to be a wild, wild night in Baton Rouge. It's going to be a wild, wild night on that field where LSU put up a shit ton of points. Say, hey, buddy, we love you, that you're visiting us for the first time, playing us for the first time. We love you at Grambling. I'm sorry. We're going to have to put a hundy on you. Put up 100. Do it. Seriously. Just do it. I think you let Garrett Nussmeier play as much as possible, but if Jaden Daniels is your guy, by all means, you have to play Jaden Daniels for most of this game. Let him work out the kinks. Let this offense get it going. You have to. And it kind of is a gamble, because then Garrett Nussmeier misses an opportunity for some reps. But here's the thing: it doesn't matter if Jaden Daniels is your guy. You have to give him this game and the bulk of this game to get it right with those receivers, because they look terrible. They look terrible together. Wow. Ole Miss with their 20th unanswered point in a row. They take a 10-point lead on Tulane at the end. Wow. Tulane just got the air kicked out of them right there, sadly. Man, what an effort, though. What a great game by them. Texas A&M are up against it. Miami, 31-26 lead here on A&M. Wow. Third quarter, 2:29 to go. Schlemp Genova with a comment says, put the Womack on him. That's a guy we didn't even see last game. That's another thing I was going to talk about with you guys. There's so many players LSU didn't even use last game. Why? Like, why not have a good rotation? Quincy Wiggins comes in for a few snaps, see what he's capable of. Even just one. See what he's capable of on that one snap. See what Taiji Hill's capable of on one snap. I'm not saying you pull Mekhi Wingo and Mason Smith out for even longer than 8 or 9 plays, anything like that. You never have them out for more than like 1 or 2 plays in a row, and maybe only 9 or 10 in the entire game. But on the edges, you can really experiment. You can bring in the 3 instead of just having a 4-man front. You can have a 3-man front and still have Mason and Mekhi comfortable on the field. Bring in Jacobian Guillory, have a dirty 3-man front up the gut. I think you should experiment like crazy with this defense, with this team. You need to get creative. You have a responsibility to get creative with this defense when you've got weapons like Harold Perkins and Mason Smith, who will never play together on a field again after this season. And isn't that a shame? Mason Smith and Mekhi Wingo and Harold Perkins, all 3 of them together, are such a ridiculously talented, outrageous trio. And yet they really are only going to have this run of games to play together. That's a sad, sad tragedy. That is a terrible, terrible, terrible shame, because just like I was saying with Mason Smith, there's so many lost opportunities with his career. Mason Smith missing over 19 games in his LSU career. Only playing 49 snaps in the last 21 appearances as a Tiger. Just crazy. Everybody, this is going to be a fun game tonight. 62-6 is our prediction. We think Mason Smith's going to put up 2.5 sacks. We think Jaden Daniels and Garrett Nussmeier as quarterbacks are going to go off. We think the freshmen are going to have a game. We think Sheldon Sampson Jr. is going to score. We think Mac Markway is going to score. We think Jaylen Brown will score a touchdown. And then Blake Neighbors as well with 2. Hopefully, we don't just see a bunch of rushing touchdowns because we don't really need that. We don't really care for that. We don't really need our team to work on the rushing touchdown area of everything. That looked good against Florida State. We were able to punch a few in like that when we actually ran it well. Inside the red zone, we need to work on the passing game. And we need to stop running it up the gut. Run it to the edge. Spread the damn team out. We're going to be looking for all of these things. That's what's going to make tonight so interesting. You've got to watch for all of these little indicators about where this team is really going to be this season. Because I'm telling you, against Grambling, it should be men against, like, blind boys. I hate to say it. I don't want to be rude, but it really should be men against a blind boy. That is just the difference in the situation here. And I'm just thinking that if LSU are not going to be that high quality of a team, that we're going to struggle against Grambling, I don't even know. I don't even know what to say about that. Even a struggling like 24-7 win tonight, I could not accept. If LSU have a poor game tonight, I'm going to come onto this channel and literally commit a heinous act before the world. There will be blood. Obviously, I'm joking. My God. But, I will drink the blood of Lane Kiffin. I'm eating Starbursts. Wow, look at that. Okay. Tulane kicking some ass right there. Ooh, okay. You know, why wasn't Tulane doing this a little bit ago? Tulane are about to score a touchdown here with 3.5 left. If they score a quick touchdown here, this is not over. How many timeouts do they have? Tulane has 2 timeouts left. Ole Miss has none. Wow. So if Tulane scores here, they've got a great opportunity here to come back in this game. They're going to have at least a minute 45, something like that. No, they had like 2.5 minutes. They have like 2.5 minutes. We gotta go get our son from upstairs real quick, though. 1 second. The return of Mason Smith tonight, baby. Let's go. How many sacks will Mason have? How many pressures? We're predicting 2.5 sacks, 6 pressures. We're gonna go get our son real quick. We'll be right back. Save me. Save me. Oh, Jesus. Oh my God, Tulane cannot catch the fucking ball. It's in your hands, bro. Pull that shit in. Schlemp Genova says Wiggins seems like a great third down DT. He's a defensive end for starters. And, I mean, you could even argue you could put him at Jack linebacker. But we don't really know where the hell he can figure because we don't even play him. I don't even think he's played more than a few snaps. Oh, you should have caught that. That's a perfect damn pass, dude. How does that Tulane guy... Did Tulane just start Kyron Lacey out there? That's a great, great pass. Tulane's going to have to settle for a field goal here. Well, I mean, you're down 10. You're going to have to score 3 at some point. So, okay. They're still in the game. Fantastic. They don't have Brian Polian coaching their special teams. My God. So, there's 2:56 left. So, they have 2 timeouts. There's going to be, at some point, 40 seconds or so gone off the clock. Add 5 or 6 more. So, they're going to lose about a minute. So, Tulane, if everything goes right, we'll have about a minute 48, minute 50 to get the ball, return it, or take a fair catch, whatever, and go down the field. Either way, it's a hell of a performance. We have not beaten an SEC team since 2006, Tulane. Tulane are playing harder than LSU played last week. People were wondering why I was saying LSU quit. People thought I was being harsh. People thought I was being straight up unfair. People thought I was being disrespectful, saying our guys quit. Can't say it any other way. And you know what? Jacob Hester would agree with me. T-Bob Hebert would agree with me. Like the players themselves that I talk to, some of the guys that you would probably go, okay, and agree with instantly if they said anything to your face. They agree with me too. They were the reason that really solidified that belief that I kind of thought in my head, and then they said it, and I'm like, shit. I don't think I used the term on the postgame show, gave up. I don't think I used quit until I wrote the article. And the article is way better than the postgame show. The postgame show was good, but the articles, I'm telling you guys, we write them to make them entertaining for you to read them. Like, we don't pull any fucking punches. We actually make these things good. Give them a chance. I know reading is kind of weird nowadays. You might not have time. If you like what we do at all, definitely check it out. Right there on LSUODYSSEY.com. Number 11, Texas. Number 3, Alabama. Constantly, consistently, annually overrated. Like and share and subscribe, everybody, right now. We never ask that shit. Do it. Do it. Hit the button. Probably half of you aren't even subscribed to us who are watching this right now, so do it right now, you cheeky bastards. See, I don't get why Walker Howard went to Ole Miss. I mean, like, former LSU quarterback Walker Howard, who I consider a friend. I like his family, but why the hell did he do that? I still even question him to this day. Why? Why make such a dumb move? I still won't understand that. Bruce says, Lon, what's up, brother? How you doing, my man? What's up, my brother? My brother, Bruce. Can Tulane pull off the comeback? The stunning comeback. What's up? Peppa Pops asked a really good question that we answered earlier, but you may have missed it earlier. Will we see Denver Harris today? We asked that question Wednesday on our appearance on the SEC Wednesday teleconference with head coach Brian Kelly. We asked him if we would see Denver Harris if he was available, and he said yes, he's available. He didn't elaborate any further. We should have pressed him. We should have said, is he going to play? But usually what we would get in a response from something like that with Kelly is, what do you mean? Like, it's just not a question that's going to get you anywhere. Oh my God, did Tulane make the stop? There's also a flag on the field. What is going on? Ultimate chaos. Peppa Pop says, or does BK still have you media guys trying to convince us he suddenly can't play? Do you really think I'm going to hey, BK, what do you need, brother? Yes, thy will be done. We will hammer it home. We'll convince you. We'll convince all the LSU fans. Like, what are you talking about, bro? Yep, I got BK in my pocket. BK, have it my way, bro. Like, I get what you're saying, though. No, because here's the thing. You actually are kind of right. The media were drinking Brian Kelly's Kool-Aid this whole offseason about this team. So that's a good point you made, Peppa Pops, LOL. I'm laughing too because you know what? Even though I rip it on your point, it's actually a good point. Ooh, Ole Miss, seal this thing. Great game from Tulane, though. Great game from Tulane. Hey, buddy. What's up, Sage? You just gave me the weirdest look right there. Oh. Chelsea isn't feeling too well. I want to help get dinner going before the game starts, so I'm going to sign off now. We're just now about 40 minutes away from kickoff, 35 minutes away from kickoff. I'm excited as hell to watch Mason Smith return to the field where he belongs. And guys, gals, everybody, watch him all night. Watch him all night. Because this is a player we aren't going to always get to see. We haven't been able to see. We've missed him 19 out of the last 21 games. Only 49 snaps played in the last 21 games. I mean, like, this is a guy we straight up have not seen. And he's going to be a guy that's going to be a what-if dude in LSU lore because of his body, because of what he can do. So whatever he does tonight, pay really good attention. Because he might not be just 30 snaps. Might only be 30 snaps tonight. So, you know. Peppa Pop says, y'all like that access. Well, hey, man. I worked hard for that access. I had to earn that access with years of literally getting denied, being basically curb stomped by LSU Sports Info. They were going to give me nothing. So I earned that the right way, though. I pulled no punches reporting Title IX. I reported it harder than all those guys. But at some point, you are correct. There will come a time where you're going to report something, you're going to ask something to Kelly that's going to get Sports Info up in your ass. It just happened to Jacques Doucet this last week when he asked Brian Kelly the question that exposed Brian Kelly being a liar. Brian Kelly literally lied to the media about the beat the heck out of Florida State comment. And what happened after Jacques asked that? He got a lot of shit from Sports Information, from LSU Sports Information, supposedly. So that is something that happens. That's something that's happened to me personally. You want to report that? Okay. Well, maybe you won't be invited to the practices next time. You won't be welcome. Well, what does that mean? You won't have credentials. You know, like that shit has happened. And it sucks. Because you are up against it in that situation. Because you do have to continue to be at those practices. You do want to continue to be at those practices. But you don't want to betray your journalistic sensibilities. So there are ways to get both done, and that's why you see sometimes you wonder, why did that journalist not go harder in on Kelly with that question? Why didn't it? He's just got to try and like be able to. He's gonna ask the question in a certain way to get Kelly to somewhat satisfy an answer, just to get out of there, you know, with his ass, you know, just barely singed with the fire, you know, not completely in flames. You know what I'm saying? We predict 62-6, everybody. Have fun watching this game. Go to LSUODYSSEY.com. That is absolutely where we're always, everything here, whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on, it doesn't matter. You don't have to come to any platform. You don't have to make sure you're on Twitter. Just put the notifications on your profile, LSUODYSSEY.com. Set those motherfuckers on so that anytime we go live, anytime that we post anything, article, video, interview, sex tape even, whatever it could be, it's going to come to you you're going to know. Your phone will tell you. I mean, fuck. Set it up. Just press the button. It isn't hard. Just press the thing. Okay? I'm going to run now. It is time for my first cigarette of the day. And enjoy the game. Stay rock and roll. LSUODYSSEY.com. We'll be there for the post game. While everyone else is taking this week off because it's Grambling, we're going to have the greatest post-game show ever. We're going to have Joe Burrow, the highest paid NFL player, live in studio. No, just kidding. We're not going to have Joe Burrow in studio. We will have Hall of Fame telecaster Joe Buck live in the studio. That's Everyone have a good game. We will see you after for the post game, right when the game ends, which should be around like 9 or some shit, 8:30. These games seem to get done faster with all the rule changes, which might cut down on points and yards and that type of shenanigans, which could suck. But let's hope it ends how we predict, 62-6 LSU, and have a good time, have a good game. Go Tigers. It's not complete over there. Join us for the post-game show. I want your thoughts on what you see, what's going down in LSU Nation, where you feel we're at after this game, because it's going to be interesting. We better be locked and loaded. We better be ready to kick some ass and take some names.